Hello, beautiful beings of love and light, coming at you today to talk a little bit about comparison and how other people's impressions or viewpoints of you are none of your damn business. But nevertheless, these things do come up and affect our lives. So if you are currently struggling with either a opinion others hold of you, a viewpoint that you believe and you're not sure of, that people think this way about you, or a word that they use to describe you that does not resonate at all with you, here are some coaching questions to help you resolve this issue for yourself. Please, as always, let me know if any of this helps support you by commenting below. You can also always schedule a 30-minute complimentary call with me to work through some very personal or customized issues that you might have that we may not touch upon. So if anything that I describe here today or offer to you isn't quite in-depth enough into your specific situation, then please reach out to me and we can schedule a call for that, for private coaching. Okay, so obsessed with what people think of you, or it's kind of this aggravation that you have around a word that people use to describe you, or a situation that you find yourself being in that you don't like people's reactions, or you don't like their opinion of you. So think about a situation like this that you were in recently, a long time ago, but that still comes up, right? It's not resolved yet. You are not thriving in this scenario. You are still in the suffering mode, and we're going to try to shift you into some resolution so that you can at least be surviving as opposed to suffering, right? These are the 3 steps of coaching. We're suffering, we're surviving or recovering, and then we move into thriving, where we're like, that doesn't even bother me anymore. It's over. Yay, it's done for me. So think about this specific situation and think about how you responded that you don't like, right? This could be either a reaction that you had, something that you said, maybe a feeling that it brought up within you that you allowed to kind of take over yourself, or perhaps a negative reaction that you had in response to this being called a certain term or experiencing a specific type of situation. So ask yourself how you would want to respond. How do I want to respond to similar situations in the future? Because if it didn't happen often, it wouldn't be a problem for you right now. So this is coming up more frequently because it is an issue for you to resolve, right? Life is all about lessons, and this is one of the lessons that keeps coming up because you need to resolve it for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with this. It might be a little bit scary, and I'm here with you to make it a little bit less so and to simplify the way to resolve it and dissolve it into love. So how would you like to have reacted in that scenario? What would be your ideal outcome? You can feel free to journal on these questions. And then also consider, when you have that ideal outcome, how you would like to react, the things that you would like to say, or do, or feel, right? Because holistic coaching is not just about the actions that we take and the things that we do and the thoughts that we think, but also the emotions that we feel and the way that we are connected to our spiritual selves. So consider all of that, because you are a full, whole being, infinitely resourceful and completely complete as you are right now in this moment. These are all just circumstantial things that happen, that we have a choice in how we interact with them, how we relate to them, and how we choose to move forward. So the next time this happens, whatever the situation is, what can you change by only 1% the next time? Just to try out doing something differently, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if we identify already that this is a problem that we have or an issue, then the next time it occurs, we're going to try to do 1% different, right? So whether that's I'm going to tell myself a mantra to help myself mentally recover from it in that moment, whether I'm going to take a different course of action. So if I was confronted with a situation that I don't like, I'm either going to maybe choose to walk away or choose to go get a glass of water or choose to take a deep breath, right? What action could you maybe shift into just one tiny change? Or maybe it's reconceptualizing that word or situation for yourself in your mind. So nothing really has to change in your physical reality, right? If you're confronted with a situation that you do not like, you don't necessarily have to do something physical or move. You can shift into your mind space and just think different thoughts. This is where mantra can come in handy. Okay, so now we have the situation or the term someone uses with us that we do not like. It does not make us feel good. And then how would we like to respond in the future? What is the scenario that we want for ourselves? What are the emotions that we want to feel? What are the thoughts that we want to be thinking? What are the spirit connection that we have? Because we are all spiritual beings. What is it doing to me to react the way that I have been, and what type of reaction would I like to have in my spirit self the next time this happens, right? Can we rely on our spirit selves to help support us? And then what's the 1% shift or change you are intending to make the next time this happens or occurs? Yeah? So if it's the word that someone is using to describe you, for example, people always tell me I'm really young, or they call me Liz as opposed to Beth when my name is Elizabeth. Right? I go by Beth. I don't prefer Liz, but people refer to me as Liz, and they also always say like, oh, you're so young, or I thought you were so young. I'm 41 years old. I'm not very young in terms of, certain chronologies. So when you hear that term, what does it mean to you, right? I'm asking myself, what does young mean for me? Maybe I have an association with it that is adverse to the values that I hold strongly for myself. One of them is maturity and intellect. So I allow that word, young, to carry meaning for me that may not have been intended by the speaker, right? So I allow myself to accept, oh, they think I'm immature and unintelligent because they assume that I am young because of my appearance. So if you can identify how you define that word, then ask yourself and why it adversely affects you, right? What's the definition that you give to it that is adverse or derogatory? How might you redefine that word for yourself to perhaps shift your reaction to it when you're referred to as that? So instead of letting it frustrate or aggravate or upset you, you can redefine that term for yourself. So I'm going to redefine the term young as beautiful, vivacious, energetic, and very witty, quick wit, right? So now when someone first talks to me and says, wow, you're so young, I can appreciate it and say, well, thank you very much. I acknowledge that I am vivacious and energetic and quick-witted. I appreciate that. Thank you. So we can redefine these things for ourselves to alter our own experience of reality. Okay, and one last one. Is there one small shift that you can make in some way each day that will enable you to exemplify the ways in which you do wish to be perceived by others? So it can be very helpful, and here's a little additional journaling exercise for you. Can we write down, kind of like a guidebook for relating to us, that you're not necessarily going to hand out to people, right? But it is putting this intention into the universe that these are the types of terms that I approve of, I pre-approve of being referred to as that, or the ideas or the feelings that people are allowed, right? You're allowing or consenting to people referring to you, speaking to you, thinking about you in these ways, so that you are manifesting or womanifesting exactly the ways in which you wish to be viewed by others, so that there's no second guessing, right? It's like making an intention. It's definitely setting an intention, right? Setting an intention to put into the universe about what your desires are. I want to be viewed as this. And so let's make a little guidebook of relating with us, right? These are the terms that are acceptable. This is also a little bit of practice with boundary setting, right? It's like setting a universal boundary for everyone around us, so that there's really no room to call us or refer to us or think of us in a way that we don't approve of, because you have this full list you have to read over to choose from. It's like a multiple choice test question, right? If what they're thinking is not on the multiple choice, then they have to pick one that is. So let's tell all beings, let's tell universal energy, these are the things that I want to be referred to as. This is how I want to relate to people. These are, you can even take it as, these are the experiences that I would like to have as well. So you can take it as far as you want. Sometimes it's just a matter of defining things for ourselves more clearly, so that that's what comes off or emanates from us when we are interacting with other beings. Enable it, right? Empower yourself to be heard crystal clear with the intention for how you want to be referred to, what you want to be perceived as. And this is really powerful work. So if you take away anything from this today, please let me know what it is. What one thing did you take away from this talk? And if it's nothing, then that's fine too. And just a little reminder to do a journaling exercise, right? Write down some of the terms that you want to be thought of as, referred to as, viewed as, the types of feelings that you want to have when people are speaking about you, the types of feelings that you want others to have when they are thinking of or speaking about you. Right, this is really powerful stuff. So take some time, even if it's just 1 minute, to write down all of the ways in which you wish to be perceived by others and the terms that you are pre-approving of them to use when speaking about you. I hope this helps you, and if you need any specific support about your personal situation or scenario, please reach out to me. I will put the link to schedule your free, complimentary, one-time only conversation with me. If you have things that you're really working on and you have extra questions about how you can move from a place of suffering, this is really bothering me, I can't let it go, to a place of surviving and helping yourself, supporting yourself through it until eventually you're thriving, right? It doesn't bug you anymore. So this can be anything from an emotion that you're dealing with, a situation, a relationship. Really, it runs the gamut. So please feel free to reach out to me, or just click the link that I'll put in this video to book a complimentary session with me. It's just a conversation. There is no obligation to buy coaching with me. And you can also ask me any questions about what will coaching be like in those conversations. What is coaching? Maybe that's a question that you have. We will go through kind of like a mock coaching session, and I will empower you by asking you powerful questions and listening very deeply to what you have going on, what you're experiencing, to try to enable you to shift your perspective into what is possible for you, what you can create for yourself, and what you deserve. You deserve everything that you want, and you can get it. I have. So thanks so much for watching. I hope these tips today help. Please save this video, come back to it if you found it helpful, send it off to a friend if you think that someone else could benefit from this really sticky subject of comparison and what other people think of us and how we tend to focus on it. But how in reality, it's none of our business what other people are thinking about us. So let's take more control in our lives of what others view us as, what they refer to us as, how they perceive us, by letting them know. And it doesn't have to be directly. You don't have to make a big statement and say, these are the only ways that you can refer to me or speak to me or think about me. But you can send that energy out into the universe, because we always want to practice ahimsa, non-harming, right? We don't want to confront someone with, this is the rule book for how to relate to me. But we can energetically do just that for all beings everywhere. Because what's good for one is good for all. So I encourage you to share these practices with everyone that you know and love, so that we can energetically be emitting these rules or guidelines for how we like to be related to and thought of, which is really love. It all comes down to love, right? So how can people love you better? Let them know. And if they ever ask in person, then you would already have your list made. You already know. I would love to be referred to as this. I would love it if you would think of me this way. I would love it if I can bring this feeling or emotion or thought into your life. And if I'm not doing that, how can I do that better? And this goes for you too. If you have any thoughts on that, please share them with me. Let me know how I can better support you in your life journey, because that's what I'm here for. All right, beauties, I love you. Thanks so much for watching. Mike, Kareem, Jay, Al, Bloco. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. I will see you soon.